Hello, my Sagittarius Risings, and welcome to your video. My name is Haley. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome to the fam. If you're a returner, you're an OG, you came from Instagram or something like that, welcome home. Today's video is going to be the very last of the 2026 agenda, 2026 everything. So 2026 agenda kind of sounds like a conspiracy theory. I simply mean your 2026 year ahead. We went through the Gregorian New Year, we went through the Lunar New Year, and we went through the Astrological New Year. We are just a few days into the 2026 Astrological New Year, and these readings, let's be honest, they've been 2026, 2027, kind of based because all these transits are basically going to either stay or completely move in 2027. Like, for example, Neptune in Aries and Saturn in Aries is going to be Neptune in Aries and Saturn in Aries through 2027. So is Jupiter in Leo, so is Uranus in Gemini, so are the North and South nodes in Aquarius and Leo. So no matter what time you're watching, there's probably something for you in this video. It's probably still relevant, it's probably still active. Now, before we get into the breakdown of today's video, I just want to also say that if you are a Sagittarius rising and you do have your midheaven in either you have a Leo midheaven or you have a Libra midheaven, feel free to watch the Scorpio or the Capricorn rising video, because I go into different transits depending on what's in your 10th house. So feel free to check those out. You want to check out your partner, you want to check out a friend, a coworker, somebody special, feel free to go into my playlist, and then all the career and the general love, fortune, spiritual health, like manifestations, all that good jazz is in the general 2026 year ahead. Last but definitely not least, Sagittarius risings. I'm so excited to be here to film your video. Now, the breakdown of today's video is we are going to be going over the major transits for you, Sagittarius rising, and then we are going to be pulling a Goddess Power Oracle card. This is going to be a goddess. If you work with deities, this is going to be someone to look out for, perhaps, or even around you, someone to work with, or this is just going to be another message. And then last but not least, since we all have different rulers, we all have different aspects, we all have different degrees, I like to bring in probability. Use the Astro dice. Love these Astro dice. This is going to give us our last and final message, maybe of a specific transit to look at for you. This is tailored for you watching. So this is supposed to essentially give us a final message. And I also, I would also mutable signs, right? Like everything, they just want to be free, just like Sagittarius risings. Represent people that are going to be significant in your career. So this could be a boss that will give you, a sort of brand new deal, or, maybe you go into investment with a friend or a partner. Maybe even you see your own signs and you've been wanting to do a side hustle. Confirmation there. So, my Sagittarius risings, let's go ahead and just get started. Let's clear the energy from today. I just wrote a post. I did some things in this room. So let's go ahead, clear the energy. It's for you. You're welcome. So good. God bless sound. Okay. Tuning forks. That one is 4096 for anybody who, if you're into tuning forks like that. Okay, Sagittarius risings. The first transit that I only have 3 today, because if I don't see something, I'm not just going to put it in there. But the 3 that I'm mentioning, we're going to go deep in. So, number 1, my Sagittarius risings. that if you're a Sagittarius rising, that means that you have Taurus in your sixth house. Consistency is the name of the game, the name of the game when it comes to our reality, our day-to-day life. Perhaps it's even flows into our work, right? And that kind of makes sense because to live life kind of, by the breeze, to find structure in our everyday routines in what we like to do, whether you work and this is where the routine is. Maybe you stick with the job for a very, very long time. Once you do commit, you're committed fully. Or if you're a creative and maybe more of your fifth house is, because you guys have Aries in the fifth house. So my Sagittarius risings are very, very powerful creatively. And if you have a creative dharma, then this could be the sixth house representing, things like again, routines, what time we wake up, what time do we go to bed. This could be even like we don't skip a shower. We like to brush our teeth at this time and this time. This could also be just we take time out of our day or weekly or something like that to like go to church or to, play our instruments or, spend time with our animals, whatever have you. And if you are full on entrepreneur in your career, you work for yourself, you are the product, you are the brand, you are the model, you're more contracted out, something like that, then the sixth house would be, how we take care of ourselves to make sure that we can perform at our best. And that also can apply if you're creative, right? So sixth house things in general, now that we kind of skipped around the different types of careers and jobs that you can have, Uranus is finally moving out of the sixth house. Now, I love it so much. I love it because Uranus and Taurus has been so different of a transit because Uranus likes to be in Aquarius, right? It's exalted in Scorpio. So for it to be in Taurus, it's an energy that is very taboo, in my opinion. And it was a lot of ups, downs, right turns, U-turns, redirections, rerouting, continue. And you're like, for how long? And it's like, never mind, turn this way. It's a lot of instability to create more stability, to create more luxury, to create more money, to create more safety, right? And that's something that that Taurus can feel kind of uncomfortable in, right? It's like, wait, I have to reshape my whole values. I have to reshape my nervous system. I have to reshape, my tried and true ways of doing things. And it's like, actually, we're bringing you closer into a more authentic version of yourself. And we're dipping into those tried and true methods, right? Those values, those habits, those money streams, right? So in this, we have a graduation coming. Now, this is going to be happening April 27th. Taurus is going to be no longer having Uranus inside its energy. It's going to be passed along to Gemini, where we're going to feel things a lot lighter. So what does this mean for your careers, my Sagittarius risings? This essentially means our day-to-day life, our schedules. Again, if this is the workplace, like the place that you work in a service job, it's going to be seen in the sixth house, right? This can be where, the very last arc of change is on the horizon, and then things will be kind of solidified. So right now until April 27th, we are going to be having a last little bit of solidifying a new nervous system, new habits, new frequency. This also can relate in a final change in job. Now, this can happen. Do not doubt Uranus at the 29th degree. If it's something that you actually feel like you're meant to move on to bigger waters, you would love a change, you feel like this is best, this can still happen in a month from now until a month from now, right? And so there could be some last changes or even the final epiphany, right? Where we start something new. This doesn't mean we have to get out of the job or, kind of change our whole routine. This could even be like a last piece to put in there into our routine. That's really, really going to change the game, that allows us to just like graduate to a new consciousness, right? Things have to wrap up here, right? So there could be even some very unexpected things, like, for example, really saying, you know what, I am going to order this stuff to do the side hustle. I am going to start posting those videos while I keep my 9 to 5 or my, my tried and true job. Or this could even be, I'm going to apply for a position, or I'm going to speak to the head. I want different benefits. I would like to, change how much vacation time I get. I'd like to ask for a raise, something like that. Anything, and it all relates back to having more freedom, right? Or living in more luxury, being more comfortable, more money, right? Because it's all in the sign of Taurus. So this can even be something that we're going to do in our routine, right? Like, who knows, anything that you feel like, yep, this is going to help me have a more romanticized day-to-day life, that helps with my workflow, that helps with my service to others, helps elevate my services, elevate my products, create new income streams, make my life a little bit easier, right? And again, it can even show up as the final epiphany, right? To where we are going to afterwards move into Gemini and start experimenting. Now let's talk about that. The other part of this transit is once Uranus leaves Taurus, it is going to be entering Gemini. When it enters Gemini, we could very well see. Now, let me just tell you this too before that. I was going to say we very well could see a lot of experimentation, but more than that, my Sagittarius risings, the angular houses are the most important houses in our chart because they rule over the angles, right? The angles are bolded in our chart for a reason. The ascendant, descendant, midheaven, and IC all are the cusps of the angular houses. Now, when you have Uranus that is transiting through here, it's going to be transiting through here for 8 years. You have your life direction, your lifestyle, your ideal lifestyle, the lifestyle that you live, right? Are we beach living? Are we living out of a suitcase? Are we married? Do we have kids, right? Everything like that. Are we a stay-at-home mom? Whatever it may be, we want to be that, whatever goals, and it's going to be goals that you have, right? So it is going to be goals that you want, right? And with Uranus moving through here, we have a new beginning. This is a new lease on life, quite honestly. When you have Uranus, the planet of change, of massive change, like night and day. And it is actually change beyond what we could have ever possibly thought of in our mind, because it has to do with higher consciousness. Uranus rules over the 5D mind, so it breaks out of what we know and anchors in timelines from the future, right? And what I mean by that is it's not a planet that takes that moves slow, where day by day, little by little, we inch very slowly towards a new life. Uranus says, okay, shuffle mode. The opener is now going to be the closer is going to be the plot, and now the plot's going to be the opener. And it's very much like Inception, the movie. It's very much like things are happening out of order, and still you're seeing the entire picture, but by the end, it wasn't technically traditional, wasn't technically in order, right? And if we blink too fast, or, we kind of get in our head, more than our body, it can feel like a whirlwind, right? But that's actually what Uranus really, really likes, right? It doesn't feel as upheavalish versus, that's not even a word, but y'all that know the vibes. When it was in Taurus, it could have felt a lot like that, right? It was, shaking up things that we're attached to, like partners, like jobs, like money, like our assets, our security, our self-worth, our values, right? Like lots of huge shakeups there. But when we have Gemini, this is an energy where going with the flow and our curious nature and, kind of being down for an adventure, just like whatever comes, we're gonna play with it, sort of. This is where Uranus really, really thrives. And actually it's going to be a little easier to be able to execute our ideas, because we're going to have that analytical mercurial gift of seeing the tiny bits of the picture and seeing the steps we need to take and actually taking such steps. So this is just really, really exciting for many reasons. Gemini, this is considered a career transit because the seventh house does rule over business. So if you're in business, real estate, you work with clients one-on-one, you are in a partnership, either you work with your significant other, or you have projects with whoever, business partners, you work off contracts, you're contracted, this is going to be major. This is major. This is a lot of change with that. And all I can say in as far as what types of change and what change you can expect, all I can say is that expect the unexpected. And I would be careful, or even just note, not be careful, but it's like an omen. Like the 11th house omen is be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. The Uranus omen is never say never, because that might just be a timeline that you're pulling on that is like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. It's too out of my comfort zone, too different from who I am. And that sometimes can be the very thing that comes our way, right? Like I would never fast forward, and then we are doing such. So, but again, this is with partnership. This is with our lifestyle. This is with business. This is with how we picture our life, which our career is intertwined with that, right? Of course, it's going to be squaring our 10th house. So that being said, when something's squaring the 10th house, our public persona is changing. How we are received in the world, how we're known in the world, how popular we are, that is all changing. This also means very experimental time in our career, our legacy. If you have not had a career change in a long time, this in the next 8 years might be when everything changes, right? Like your role, for example, you're a father, you're a husband now, you're now invested into a partner's career or money endeavors. You are now somebody who, changes jobs or something of that nature, or just very much expanding, experimenting. Maybe we have been known to just sing, right? Or me, I've been known to just do astrology, but I actually started doing some oracle cards on here, right? And I would like to do more of that. And it is very much breaking from breaking the mold of being inside any sort of box, right? And so very, very exciting. And also just our life directions changing in general. Sagittarius risings, there's more about your overall year and how different a journey you're going to be embarking on in the general. So feel free to check that out. But that is what I have for the first transit. The only other thing I would probably add is if you are an influencer, if you do rely on the general public for growth in your career, this can be a lot of influence, a lot of popularity coming your way. So the next transit is the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces. Now, you guys have been experiencing this transit since 2025, January of 2025. So it's been over a year that the nodes have been in the signs of Pisces and Virgo. Now, South Node moving through the 10th house, this is also big because the South Node is where we are taking stock of just what's not working anymore. What's not working. Now, this can be with the job itself. The field we're in or the job we're in, we're taking stock of what's not working anymore. This can also be if you are an entrepreneur, right? You are an artiste. You are, you have a business where you sell products or services. This can be our masculine energy, how aggressive we go after things or how much energy we're putting out. If we find ourselves burning out, if we find our bodies aching, we're having not that much downtime behind the scenes. It's hard to fully relax. Maybe there's less, it's kind of tough to juggle home and work, right? And then this is going to be, this could have been a time in general where we were leaning more towards just feeling okay behind the scenes in relation with our work, right? So if we found ourselves being burnt out, stuff like that, it's showing where balance needs to come in, right? And it will all be felt emotionally, right? Because the nodes are based off of the moon. And so that being said, the South Node is wrapping up in the 10th house. The South Node and North Node are our karmic journeys. The karmic journey, tied to past lives, and also the karmic journey with our new beginnings, with what we're meant to experience. Not everything is lessons. We are meant to have new, beautiful, rad experiences as well, right? That's all in relation to the fated nodes, right? And so fate has been playing its part, right? The karma of these houses is being highlighted, right? Through the people, through the circumstances, through the opportunities, through the lack of opportunities, right? There could have been, sometimes the nodes put us in kind of like a winter season, right? Because they have to do with our subconscious, they have to do with the moon, they have to do with privacy. It's a more private planet. And we're not seeing everything, right? So that can kind of pull us out of our conscious thinking, kind of into reflection or daydreaming, or, even when we're dreaming, we can have epiphanies related to our career and our home life or our nervous system and, kind of our goals and achievements and stuff like that. The South Node is moving. It is going to be moving this summer, which means that we have finished a cycle and are graduating in terms of, you guessed it, what is and what is not working in our career anymore. And there could have been a lot of letting go in career, right? Like whether we just emotionally let go, right? Like we're okay with whatever happens next, or we finally admitted to ourselves, you know what, I need a break, or you know what, I need a different job, or you know what, I need to work less hours, or you know what, I need to work more hours, or I want to make money a different way. I want different goals. I want different achievements. I want different results, right? And with Virgo, it's like, all right, it's very much a sign associated with discernment, with reality, with practicality of, yeah, you know what, this is not working anymore. And actually the North Node in Pisces we could have been actually being like, you know what, relaxing feels nice. Like this is nice. Like making time for ourselves. So overall, what this is going to do, looking back, this would have been a very, very important time in our life because in relation to our career, because we would have let go of a lot, actually. And it's after the letting go process that we really start to see the external align with our new internal, right? With the frequency we're operating at, with our new desires, with our new thoughts, with our new emotional state, right? And like frequency, all of that holistically, right? What we would have let go of is clearing for new. And so, we could feel a lot lighter just in the career life. Like kind of now we have the Uranus that's going to be squaring the 10th house. So now we can bring in the new, right? Uranus is all about the new, right? New life, like new ideas, like reinvents, right? Like we can take something that already exists and just make it new, right? So new timelines, opening up. So those two really work in tandem together, and we can feel a lot more emotional fulfillment because again, we would have gone through the subconscious process of what is and what is not working, and we could have found what really works for us too. That's the exciting part. So now we know what works. We have kind of a different emotional foundation, a sort of different feeling about our job and our private life, our personal life, than we would have before this transit. So the third transit is Jupiter moved direct in Cancer about 2 weeks ago. So we're right about to hit the post-shadow period, which the post-shadow period is when a planet goes retrograde. It takes about 2 weeks for after it turns direct for it to get out of that shadow, the retrograde shadow, right? Because as it's gaining momentum until like it kind of fully starts operating, you have that shadow, right? Where things can still be a little retrograde-ish, right? And retrograde is essentially, a time where we put things on pause, we reflect a bit more. It's way more internal than what we're seeing on the outside externally, very much like a nodal transit, right? So Jupiter went direct. Now we're going to see Jupiter completing its cycle in our 8th house and 2nd house axis. So my Sagittarius risings, as far as money goes, money, my name. The do re mi, right? Jupiter moving through the second, eighth house is a beautiful transit. When it is moving through the eighth house, we have work smarter, not harder, right? We're thinking outsourcing, we're thinking investments, we're thinking of the long game, right? That's Scorpio, right? How do we cut a corner, right? Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. You really think Scorpio wants to follow the rules when they can turn around the sheet and just kind of like write a cheat sheet and do it their own way? That totally works, right? But it's just a lesser known this way. Yeah, that's Scorpio. That's called the occult. If y'all don't know, I didn't know this, but the occult just means lesser known knowledge. So Jupiter moving through the eighth house, again, working smarter, not harder, investing. We could be, we could have really seen, and especially after this little internal period, we really could have like felt, because it's in Cancer, right? Like really felt the repercussions or the disadvantages or just anything that wasn't comfy around the way that we've been doing things. And it's like, I can't make money like this anymore, or I wouldn't like to, have different hours, spend my time differently. The eighth house is what we invest into, right? It's our energy, it's our emotional investments, it's our energetic investments. It is our investments in like who's in our life, right? As well as the monetary investments, right? Like stocks, like crypto, like real estate, like some people use, other things as investments, right? It could really be anything. It could be like a product you want to launch, buying a course about a topic that you want to make monetizable, right? So all of those sort of things, if there's any opportunities to do to invest our energy or our money or our time into things that are going to strategically give us more power in the long run, it's a very auspicious time to do so. And auspicious just means lucky, favorable. So whether we go and invest or somebody comes to us or the opportunities come to us, I would pay attention to anyone who says, hey, I have an extra this, would you like to have one, would you like to take it? Or my friend's offering a course, I'm going to take it, would you like to take it with me? Jupiter brings guides and mentors through physical people, and a lot of times they're like past life guides or mentors, or there's a karmic contract where it's like, all right, in this life, I'm gonna lead you to this, or I'm gonna teach you this. You taught me last life, I'm gonna teach you this lifetime, right? So we have that energy in the eighth house, right? So again, not just the opportunities that come towards us could really change the game for us long terms, monetarily, as well as having more time, more money, more power, right? Power in our own say, power in our what we spend our time doing, and just things like that, in a position of power. When Jupiter is moving through the eighth house, it is opposing the second house axis, which you guys, my Sagittarius risings have Capricorn in your guys' second house. So whatever house we have Capricorn in is the house that we grow. It's the tortoise energy, with the tortoise and the hare story. I talk about this story all the time on this channel. I don't know why. It just comes up a lot. But it's one of the best ways to describe more slower moving transits, because just because it's going slower does not mean that it is not a top player. Whatever house you have Capricorn in is a top player in the earthly game. We are good at this on Earth, but it takes consistent effort. Right? Like, just like the tortoise never stopped to take a break, right? He didn't nap, right? He went slow and steady. And that is the second house and Capricorn energy. So as Jupiter moves through here and is wrapping up, it's going to be fully done and then entering Leo June 30th. So we got some time, right? We got April, May, June, right? We got those middle months to be able to, or those beginning months in the astrological new year, to make the most out of our opportunities, right? We like to wring out the towel with Jupiter placements, Jupiter transits. At least I do. I'm actually going to open my window slightly. I love filming during sunset. The only thing is that I lose a little bit of sun. So let me just open this very quickly. You won't even feel it. One second. And the good Lord said, "Let there be light." Okay. So Jupiter moving, like opposing the second house. So if the eighth house is work smarter, not harder, it's our investments. Then the second house, which I have one more thing to add about the eighth house. Okay, I'll finish up the second house and I'll wrap up on the eighth house. So second house is our assets, right? So it's the car we drive. It is, which I'm using assets like loosely. It's the things that we own, right? It's our assets, and it's luxury. The second house, it's our relationship with money, like whether we budget or we don't, if we're generous or not, if we are spenders or not, right? Like kind of the relationship with all of that, just our relationship with money in general. When you have Jupiter, this is undoing some family karma, like big time with this Cancer Capricorn axis. So we're a little bit wiser. We're a little bit more conscious of our money realm, and just like our strategy realm, and just like the earthly realm in terms of money. The second house is the way we make money. It's our income streams, right? So let's see, how do I want to put this? So Jupiter opposing the second house, there could be more income streams that come our way. Again, it could work either way. Like, we are going to create new income streams, and it's a very favorable time to do so. Or other people may bring us opportunities to make or have different income streams, or to make more money, and both are very favorable, right? We can trust, right, a lot of the time what Jupiter is bringing us when it feels aligned, when it feels good. And if we get a lot of different opportunities, which does happen when Jupiter moves through something, Jupiter is excess, right? It multiplies, right? But that doesn't mean that we should take it all, right? That's where we use our wisdom and discernment of Jupiter. So, if we really want to make money a certain way, let's just say like we would really love to what analogy or example would I like to use? Okay, if we really want to make money through being an actress, right? But we do not want to make money through like nude scenes or something like that, right? The first offer that we may get may be a nude scene, right? It may be like we're gonna post nude in a music video, we're gonna post nude like in a movie or in a TV show or something like that. It is like up to our own ethic system, right? To our own beliefs and values, right? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this. Like, quite literally, live your life, king or queen. I'm all about that. Like, do what makes you happy. But let's just say, for example, it's like, oh my gosh, like this was my one opportunity, and like I can't believe that it was that, and like maybe I should just take it. That's a beauty. My camera, my iPad ran out of storage. So as we were saying, yeah, I was talking about the example with filming nude. So back to that example. That's the beauty of Jupiter. This works in other areas of life too. Like I meet people who are single that have Jupiter move through their fifth house or Jupiter move through their seventh house, and that's multiple dating partners, and that's could be like, different people that we could feel like, is this the one? But this person too, like I could see them as a good investment too. Like I feel a little bit, like I'm exploring, like I'm expanding my consciousness from like past what I thought was possible for myself. There's, I'm learning, I'm gaining wisdom in this area of life, right? And there's just multiple opportunities. So, by really, that's like the wisdom being developed too, by like sticking to our higher ethics, our higher beliefs, right? And being very clear with the universe on what we want, because Jupiter's manifestation, spirituality, it's like all the good stuff in terms of manifesting what we desire and attaining the right opportunities for us, right? And being open, right? And that expands our life and that gives us the blessings and what we desire. When we're really clear about what we want, the universe can bring a different opportunity, more aligned, because we were clear with what we wanted to manifest. That makes sense. So when it comes to the second house and making income, right, it's like if something doesn't work right away, which, for example, when Jupiter's retrograde, that could kind of be a theme, is when opportunities that like once got presented to us when it was direct, like maybe getting shaken up, right? And we're given time to reflect and before kind of like moving forward with those same opportunities. And you'd be surprised looking back, like for example, I've had some opportunities to collaborate with certain brands since Jupiter has been in Cancer. And there's like, I don't know, just after it went retrograde, like everything was kind of on pause, like naturally. And then when things went direct, I just have such a clear idea of what feels good to me, like what I want to do in terms of collaborations, and better off for it, more very thankful for that. But yeah, and that was in my seventh house of collaborations, of like partnership and contracts and deals. But when we have the seventh house, this can be very much income streams. Again, this can also be like just kind of shaken up, like relationship with money, what we spend money on, budgeting, stuff like that. This even can be a little bit like holistic relationship with money, right? So like certain things that you hear, like health is wealth. You can kind of dip into that sort of, if you're into that. Also just like generational curse breaking, like with beliefs around money, nervous system work with money. This all, like there could be many opportunities to change this area of our lives, right? So that is what I have for my Sagittarius risings in terms of transits. So let's go ahead and just pull your guys's Goddess Power card. I'm excited to see who you guys get. And in the comments, don't be shy. Introduce yourself if you would like. I'd love to know who you are and who's watching. If you came from Instagram, if you found me through YouTube, I just love to know. And anything that you got going on, do you guys feel like there's a big shift happening in your life? Like it's coming around the corner, because it is. It definitely is for you guys. Very, very exciting. All right, so let's see who y'all get. Call upon the divine and the finest shotties and shorties in the goddess gang. This one, she wanted to come out. Oh, shut up. Oh my gosh. You guys have Gaia. This is Earth. This is the Empress card. She's pregnant. 16 could be significant. Maybe you guys are born on the 16th, or you guys could have, this would reduce to a 7. You guys could have the life path number 7. Okay, so there was, oh yeah, the thing that I wanted to mention with the 8th house, I did not forget. She reminded me. The other thing about the 8th house, if whether you are a woman or, like whoever you are, if you are in a relationship and you are looking and like maybe hoping to go into business with a partner, or you're hoping for your partner to make some more money so you can not work, or kind of go all in into an investment that maybe has a little bit more like volatility. Anything like that, the eighth house, the like Jupiter moving through the eighth house is amazing for that. And let's say that you yeah, like no matter what, if you're a provider, like if you are a natural provider, like you provide for most of the household, the eighth house can also be where we could be taking on an investment like a partner, right? That's going to help us with more things around the house, or kind of like help with life, but we may be given more money to provide, or that's kind of, we'll be given opportunities to do that. So the eighth house talks about the merging of finances, essentially. So this reminded me of that because, we have a baby coming, we need more food on the table, right? And we need to provide for more mouths. So this kind of reminded me of the merging of finances of like marriage, and just kind of like the aftermath of the seventh house. Like, let's talk about like behind closed doors, like those sorts of things. But this can also represent, I wasn't even going to mention these other transits in your guys' chart, but honestly, you guys have really, really big transits for like writing things, creating things, like expanding spiritually, like you guys are about to go on a journey this next year and a half, like 2 years for sure, with the ninth house transits. Jupiter moving through the ninth house is a beautiful transit. Jupiter loves the ninth house. Learning new things, birthing new ideas, birthing new projects. This is just so big. You guys could be pregnant with an idea. You could be pregnant with a new project that you're waiting to release, to bring into the world. You could actually be pregnant. And maybe some of the other things that we were talking about, like letting go of a job, like not having to work, like being provided for, changing our relationship with money. That could be happening as well. But yes, Gaia is also just a really, you guys are graduating, right? In that sixth house of everyday life. You guys could be more in this Empress energy. Like, I just take better care of myself like that. Like, in my day-to-day life, and it reflects in my work. It reflects in the overflow of energy that I also have with the North Node having been moving through the fourth house, right? I feel more abundant overall, right? So, yeah, we have this, and then it's also green. I noticed that too, the heart chakra. There could be like just the heart is getting rebirthed, right? Oh my God. Okay. Little rascals almost went away. All right, let's go ahead and roll your guys' dice. What do we got? What do we got? North Node in the 8th house in Cancer. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So obviously your guys' 8th house in Cancer is really big. You specifically. Yeah, you fine individual, you. Perhaps look up what is in your 8th house. It could be really, really significant. Like, there's destiny. This is what I'm getting. Okay, this is what I'm getting straight up. North Node is huge. I almost never roll that in the Astro dice. So, and the 8th house is a lot of transformation, and Cancer is like one of the best energies in the world to feel. I'm not saying it's all that like fun to be a Cancer 24/7. I'm saying that Cancer is just like a mother's hug. It's like an auntie's love. It's like warm chocolate chip cookies. It is like a fuzzy blanket. It is just like crying and like wanting your mom, and just like, oh my gosh. It's just like the nurturing, right? And we as humans, we have emotions, and it's nice to get that Cancer nurturing, whether it's from ourselves, a mani-pedi, jumping out of an airplane, whoever's watching, right? Y'all could be a Sagittarius rising, you could be an Aquarius and be like, I don't want no fuzzy blanket. I want to go to Burning Man and take off my shirt, and that's going to make me feel comfortable and, nurtured, and whatever it is. My Sagittarius, a freedom-loving individual, there is fate that is happening within this Cancer transit for you guys. So from now until June 30th, and this it's going to result in something fated for you guys. Now, I already kind of know this too, because Jupiter being in Cancer is just so big because it's in an exalted state, and it being the planet of multiplication and blessings and opportunities and fate and stuff like that. When it hits that 29th degree, when it leans into those very last degrees, that graduation is going to be so much fun. I feel like there's going to be either, somebody that's very helpful, right? Like eighth house resources, right? Or, that's going to be the merging, right? That's going to be either merging with people that we trust that are really going to help us out, that or destiny's just coming our way in order to work smarter, not harder. Again, like structuring our time differently, either like again investing into a project, investing into an idea, right? And maybe having some sort of like divine help. This also can be a divine inheritance. Like that has been like all over my radar. I've known about the term spiritual inheritance for a long time, and it's basically a karmic contract that you're meant to fall into inheritance. And this can be like holistic at the same time, but I am referring to a monetary inheritance, right? Where you get like you were meant to become more wealthy at this point in your life. Like that is just a new experience your soul was meant to experience and it's divinely guided. But this also can be like all at once, right? Like we get an inheritance of like ancestral wisdom, or we get an inheritance of that one idea, or like a person that's going to take care of us, right? So your inheritance is coming either within this next Cancer transit, or this is going to be that you meet the person or the place or the situation that is going to change your life, right? So I love that. I mean, with family, we have like so much like pregnancy and family stuff here. I feel like you guys could be, meeting new people. It's very, very faded. It's kind of like hush hush, right? When we have the North Node in the eighth house, it's kind of like hidden, right? It's like, wait, like, what is that? Who is that? Like, you're supposed to in my life, like, and you guys have Uranus moving through the seventh house. So another thing there in terms of new partners, like, or just new chapters in the partnership, right? Like this can be like the couple that's coming up together. Like this is when a very big faded event or time between now and June 30th, when we're investing the right way, or we're investing into something that is like definitely fated for us to do so. This is like the product that changes our life, the service that changes our life, the deal, the investment, the like role switch in the relationship. Like this just is going to change. I don't want to be dramatic and say everything, but the North Node is fate. And yeah, I feel like I do believe in that. I do believe in like the butterfly effect, and like the power of like a small change can just like change your entire life. You know what I mean? So my Sagittarius risings, you have completed this entire series for us. Thank you so much for being patient. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please put a swan emoji. You guys were so graceful and just showed so much grace in being patient. So just wishing you nothing but the absolute best. I'm very, very excited for this. And I did see Venus, or no, that was Mars. I saw Venus. I did see Venus when I looked at the dice too. So and I see the 7. I think it's going to be a really, really beautiful time for you guys in terms of like people coming in that are going to change the direction for you. So just thanks again. Take care, take it easy, and I will see you guys in something new that's coming up. 2026, things are over, so we'll see what happens on here. If you guys would like to support me in any way, shape, or form, please do consider subscribing. It is one of the easiest and simplest ways to support me. So I know that you guys like videos like this. So, I can keep doing them.